Hello again, everybody. Attack is here with the attack line for Tuesday, March the 27th, 2012. Alright, let's kick off with a happy birthday shout out to Mariah Carey. Yes, Mariah's birthday is today. I don't know how old she is. Be more specific. Probably like 40 something. Of course, the wife of Nick Cannon, currently recovering from his kidney problems, is of course probably in everyone's minds one of the biggest female artists of all time. Numerous number ones. Do we have to go through them all? We belong together, make it happen, emotion, someday, uh, vision of love, so many great songs, fantasy, honey. Do we have to go through them all? She's had so many. She's 42 today. So happy birthday to you, Mariah Carey. Well, Mariah's not just one of the greatest artists of all time, female artists. Another big female artist besides Mariah is, of course, Whitney Houston, who did do rap with Mariah Carey back on When We Believe. While Whitney, of course, passed on, her ex is back in jail. Last night, Bobby Brown once again got arrested. What else is news? Another DUI. According to several people, a lot of sources, TMZ and all these other publications, are saying that B. Brown, as he calls himself, got arrested in Los Angeles last night and cooperated when he got arrested for a DUI last night. Or was it Sunday? It was one of those areas. Los Angeles, New York, big area. Trying to get the lowdown of what's up with B. Brown. Okay, what am I doing? Yes. He cooperated fully when arrested on suspicion of DUI. He was arrested without incident and cooperated fully with officers who booked him on suspicion of driving while intoxicated, according to the California Highway Patrol. He was booked and arrested. The arrest occurred at 2:20 Pacific Standard Time, Monday near Victory Boulevard and Wilbur Avenue, according to CHP officer Mike Harris. Officers pulled Brown over for talking on a cell phone, but then administered a field sobriety test. They said the arrest occurred without incident. No illegal items were found in Brown's vehicle. The arrest comes 4 days after they revealed the results of Whitney Houston's death. So, don't know if he's going back to court, but at least Bobby Brown was arrested again yesterday for DUI. Does he ever learn? Well, as he always says, it's his prerogative. Alright. Anyway, on to another concert news. Yesterday on the attack line, I mentioned that Aerosmith yesterday announced their global warming tour, including a stop in Detroit on July 5th. Another Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band is announced. That's a band also that did tour with Aerosmith, well, for a little while until Steven Tyler fell off the stage and stood just, of course, referring to ZZ Top, a band I've seen. They're a terrific live band, one of the greatest bands ever from Texas. And they announced their tour in a Gang of Outlaws, which will include them alongside an odd band choice in my mind. Three Doors Down, they don't project Southern rock to me. Last year the two have skidded, went from that to doing with Three Doors Down. Okay combo. With the other guest, Gretchen Wilson, they will include a stop in Detroit. I think it's on June 27th or 28th at Pineapple DT Energy Music Theater. No ticket date, no ticket price, but we all know ZZ is on the way to town. Now, on with my thoughts on last night's Dancing with the Stars and who I think will be going home tonight. Of course, I hate dancing being on Mondays at 8 because I have to flip between that and Monday Night Raw. It is a pain in my ass. I mean, I hate doing it. I've seen a couple of dances. For what I've seen, my favorites were Catherine Jenkins was my favorite. I even liked Sean, the guy from the Disney show, and last week he was swaggery with the gangsta thing, hip hop dance thing, his dance. But this week it was classy, sophisticated, and Catherine Jenkins looked hot last night with the little cha-cha move or whatever the heck the dance was last night. Went from sophisticated to sexy. So it was kind of a cool dance. Also impressing people last night was tied again. Wilshan and Catherine, like I said, the two best ones were Catherine and Wilshan. William Menudo's fighting a women injury. Did impress for 25. I liked William's dance. He was decent. Donald and Peter, I did see a little bit of Donald's. Sherry missed a few things on her dance, but was high energy with the Tina Turner thing. Julia went down a lot, went from 26 to 22. Hopefully he comes back strong. And Jack was okay. I didn't see Gavin. And lowest score was Martina Navratilova. So I say Martina should be eliminated. But in dancing and about the scores of big people, it's a popularity contest. People voting for their favorites. So we'll see if the crowd will get it right this season. Hopefully eliminate the worst people instead of the best people. Do we have to mention Nancy and Chaz again? Okay, see what happens tonight. It was on show at 9 Central on ABC with Sugarland performing. So there goes. I hope Martina. I like Martina, but I think she should go home. My second pick to go home would be Gladys, because she was the second worst last night. So one of those two may go home tonight. Should. Now on to wrestling and cage fighting news, starting with wrestling. Now I got some news concerning the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony, which will take place this Saturday, the day before WrestleMania. It'll air on TV. Will include the induction of the Four Horsemen, Edge, and Mike Tyson on TV. They announced who's going to induct who. Now, Edge, it was a no-brainer. Despite his injury, Christian is scheduled to induct Edge this Saturday at the Hall of Fame. It made sense. Made it make sense. Juan Simmons will be inducted by his former tag team partner from the APA, Acolytes, whatever you want to call him, Bradshaw, JBL, John Bradshaw Layfair, whatever you want to call him as well. I call him Bradshaw. So I happy to see Bradshaw inducting Juan makes sense. Also, inducting Mexican wrestler Mil Mascaras will be Puerto del Rio. Inducting Yokozuna will be the Usos with Rikishi, who's of course one of Yokozuna's cousins. Usos related to Umaga. I think. Either Umaga's sons or nephews or whatever. Related to Yokozuna, because all Samoans are related in some way, shape, or form to other Samoans, including Yokozuna. So there you go. Also, Mike Tyson will be inducted by, makes sense as well, D-Generation X, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. And Ric Flair, the biggest rumor of them all was Ric Flair going to show up with the Four Horsemen, who will be inducted by Dusty Rhodes. Now, the question's been answered. Ric Flair will be there to accept the honor for the Four Horsemen being in the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, get this. We went from 1 year ago, Ric Flair being allowed to show up at the ceremony to watch Shawn be inducted, but not be on screen or mentioned on screen, to 1 year later, being allowed to show up and be on screen and mentioned to be inducted. That's weird. How much money did WWE have to pay TNA for that? That's like the big speculation. Was Ric Flair going to show up because of TNA? Well, TNA agreed. Let's see if WWE mentions TNA, because there was a rumor that TNA would only allow Ric Flair to be on if WWE mentions TNA when mentioning Ric Flair. TNA superstar Ric Flair. See how that goes down. Ric Flair does show up at the ceremony on Saturday, which will air on Monday. Now, on the UFC news, a lot of UFC things happened today. Today was the UFC 146 press conference in Las Vegas, Nevada, and all heavyweight card will headline this pay-per-view. Triple triple main event for heavyweights. All the main fights are heavyweight, but the main three will start with Roy Nelson recovering from his loss against Fabricio Werdum in a decent fight, having so much heart. I like Nelson's performance, giving his all despite getting pummeled the whole time by Werdum. He'll be taking on Bigfoot, aka Antonio Silva. Also, former UFC heavyweight champions Cain Velasquez, recovering from his loss against the current champion, who will defend his title, which I'll get to in a moment, will be taking on Frank Mir in a apparent number one contenders match. And of course, main event in his first title defense ever since his first round knockout of Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos. He'll be taking on Alistair Overeem, the guy that literally knocked Brock Lesnar out of retirement. In a press conference today in Vegas, they're very excited about this pay-per-view. Talking about boring fights. Hopefully these fights will not be boring. That's what Dana White's saying. They're promising not boring fights as we head towards that fight on May 26th, Memorial Day weekend. The other two heavyweight fights will be Gabriel Gonzaga against Shane Del Rosario and Mark Hunt against Stefan Struve. Maybe have a lot of anticipated fights. That fight's going to be huge. That UFC, we're going 46. We have 144 coming up. Actually, 145 coming up with Rashad Evans finally able, healthy, to take on John Bones Jones. And of course, another anticipated match signed officially this morning. After lots of speculation, UFC 147 main event, the rematch we've all been waiting for. It'll be for the UFC lightweight middleweight title as Anderson the Spider Silva defends yet again against Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen, Silva 2, has been speculated for weeks and months ever since Chael Sonnen defeated Michael Bisping. Now it's official. It'll be June 23rd at the Jaio Stadium in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Set to be the biggest UFC fight ever. They're expecting more than the 55,000 that attended UFC 129 in Toronto. And this is an anticipated rematch. And I saw the first match. And I've said this a few times in my UFC stuff, that Chael Sonnen is the only guy that really took it to Silva. And I think Sonnen will get the job done this time, and hopefully in Silva's own home country of Brazil. We'll crown a new UFC middleweight champion in Chael Sonnen. But if Silva wins, I'll give him credit as well for surviving another stunning beatdown. Because Sonnen beat the crap. I was there that night watching it on TV. I was like, wow, Sonnen's just beating the crap out of Silva. Silva got a submission win in the last minute. I call it lucky, but we'll see if Anderson can survive again against Sonnen, or will Sonnen beat Silva this time? Anderson Silva. Speaking of Silva, Wanderlei Silva will fight in another anticipated fight as he takes on Victor Belfort, the coaches of the Ultimate Fighter Brazil, which I hear the Ultimate Fighter Brazil finals will take place during that UFC pay-per-view. Also been moving, I mentioned Fabricio Werdum, who did defeat Roy Nelson. I am hearing Fabricio Werdum may end up being on the card as well. So, there you go. Big UFC cards announced, or at least somewhat announced. UFC 146 press conference today, UFC 147 main event, double main event announced, including, of course, Silva-Sonnen too. Can't I wait to see that, hopefully. I have a get that night. Hope that'll be DJing until a certain amount of time so I can make it in time for that pay-per-view. That is it for the Atakline. I'll see you all later. Thank you all very much for watching. Then mind, you've all been attacked by the news from Zach. Thank you all very much. See you all later. Have a great day. Yeah.